Hey there, Sabres. We are going to try and make an orthographic projection of the benches that we're going to be building. So this view is called an isometric view, and it shows depths and kind of leading lines or a vanishing point. If you understand that from design elements and principles, would be way up here. An orthographic projection is a front top right side view. This would be a similar drawing or a drawing of something similar to what we're going to build. It's just ours are going to have backrests. So we're going to try and do a drawing for this to better understand how these components go together, layout and spacing, that kind of thing. 11 by 17 paper in front of us, and we're going to choose a scale here, and we're going to try and use the scale that we used off of this drawing, which is 1 block equals 1.5 inches in real life. That's a 1/4 inch equals 1.5 inches, or a 1 to 6 scale drawing. So bottom left-hand corner, one of the pieces of information we want to include is scale. So we're going to write scale equals 1 to 6, or 1/4 inch equals 1.5 inches. Make sure we indicate our inches and our measurements there. Okay. To fit this on here, because of the backrest, we're going to start 2 up and 2 in. So if you count 2 blocks over and 2 blocks up, we're going to start in that corner there. And then we have to start figuring out, like, okay, what's our overall dimensions here? On the drawing, our overall height is 33.5. Our overall width is 51 inches. So we're going to just mark out that box that this fits within. And to do that, we have to get a little more familiar with the ruler and how much 1 inch equals. So 1 inch on paper is going to equal 6 inches in real life. 1 inch on paper equals 6 inches in real life. So that means if we're 51 inches wide, how wide are we going to be on paper? 1 inch would be 6 inches, 2 inch would be 12. This would be 18, 24, 30 inches. 6 inches would equal 36. 7 would be 42. 8 would be 48. And then we're going to count out each 1/4 inch is an additional 1.5 inches. So we'd go 48. This would be 50.5. Sorry, 49.5, and then 51. So it's 8.5 inches over is going to be the outside edge of our bench. 8.5 inches. And then we're going to start to draw in thicknesses. And if we look at the orientation or the arrangement, I got 2 dots there. The arrangement of this, our longer legs are on the outside. Here and here we can tell that. So they go all the way up to our 33-inch height. And they are 1.5 inches wide. So the cool thing about the scale is 1.5 inches thickness, because of our 2x8s, is exactly 1 block. So we're going to start like this, and we're going to draw this. This one over here is at the outside edge at 51, so we come back in here 1.5 inches. We're going to draw these all the way up our 33-inch heights. And let's figure out 33-inch heights here. We know that 1 inch equals 6 inches, so 2 inches is 12. 4 inches is 24. We're going to go that far for sure. 5 inches would be 30. And then to get to 33, we're just going to go 2 more blocks. So it would be 5.5 inches. We can draw that over and square it off. And then all the way back down, because that's going to be a continuous line on the outside. And I'm making a really long rectangle there. Same thing on the other side. Now, to transfer this over, I can just follow this line. I don't have to remeasure. Follow this line and find where they intersect, and then connect the dots. Close those off. Okay, cool. So I've got my uprights right now drawn. I want to think a little bit about what are the next components and maybe what's easy to draw. These backrest pieces would be pretty easy to draw. we're gonna have 2x8s that go across here. The way I know that they're 2x8s, well, they're all 2x8s. This actually says 2x8 quantity 4 times 48 inches. So those are gonna be cut to 48. And on paper, they are just going to be connectors in between here. Now, a little bit tricky with this is we're gonna start flush with the top here and work our way down, because that's how we're going to set these. The 2x8s are actually about 7.5 or 7.25 inches is what they measure. So on paper, that would be a little less than 4 blocks, right? 3 blocks, so this would be 1.5 inches, 3, sorry, it'd be more than that. 1.5 inches, 3 inches, 4.5, 6 inches. This would be 7.5. So we're gonna go 5 blocks, make a mark. And then we wanna leave a gap here, and just a slight gap. We're gonna go about 1/4 of a square, but we wanna leave some spacing. And then we've gotta do another 5 blocks down here. And so we have to stay with that 1/4 of a square. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's going to be the bottom of that. We'll just transfer all these lines straight across. So let me see if I can make this visible. From right here, make sure I'm parallel with my guidelines. This will be the bottom of the second board all the way across. I'm going to slide up to this mark here. The reason we leave spacing between boards, it allows for expansion, drainage of water. Looks nice to have a little bit of spacing too. Oh, that missed a little bit. It'll still play. I'll just draw another line. Thick pencil. Oops. And then I got the top of my last board as well. That did not go that straight even. Let's try one more time. Okay, so I've got bench backrests here, and now I need to draw my seats in, and those overall heights, they're a little tough to figure out from this because they don't really give us numbers to these seat heights. So we're gonna draw these bench seats to come out at 16.5 inches to the top, and they're 1.5 inches thick. That would be, if I count in 6-inch increments or 1 inch at a time, this would be 6 inches here, 12 inches, and then we would go 13.5, 15. We're gonna go 16.5 right here, so just under this point. Draw a line straight across. And then we're gonna show our bench thickness on the front edge of that, which is 1.5 inches. And there's actually going to be another about 1 inch behind there because the bench drops back at an angle. So I'm going to drop down 1 inch, which is just under a full block. And I'll draw another line. That just seems like a lot of horizontal lines until we get to the other side here. We do have to draw our inside legs yet. So if we look at these inside legs here, they're gonna just be vertical lines to the inside that support these benches underneath. So what they're gonna look like from front view is just lines straight down here and over connect like this. Same thing on the other side. Finish these out. 1.5 inches wide, lines straight down. And connect over. That's what we're going to see from the front view of our bench, looking straight on it. Now we're going to turn and draw a right side view, which is a little more challenging with the angles.